Hello everybody, welcome to another update on the stock screener. Today we're going to talk about fertilizers and do a bit of applied economics on this. So interesting that you can use economics lessons to predict things in real life. Okay, so what's the premise here? We are seeing fertilizer prices surge. So this is from Friday. And you can see here that potash in Brazil skyrocketed 34% on Friday. It jumped 16% and urea soared 22%. So what is happening here? Why are fertilizer prices skyrocketing? So you need to understand the background. Let's talk about only potash. So as you know, Belarus and Russia supply almost 50% of the world's potash. And we are now seeing supply disruptions on these two countries. So it's important to know that also those ports that supply these things are now getting in trouble, and that will only worsen the situation. Here you can also see Russia is also banning fertilizer exports, and that will, of course, delete the supply. And we will see what the effect is on this ban on the supply curve later on. Another problem is that also European companies are slashing production. And this is another problem. This problem comes from higher costs. So that will also have an effect on the supply curve, and we will see how that happens. So they also cut production by 50%, only operating at 45% capacity. So all of these things are happening right now. Now, a typical supply curve looks like this. You have low cost producers and you have high cost producers. So everything depends on the price. If the potash price is 250, then these companies will not be producing because they won't produce at a price of 250, right? So as the price increases, also the production quantity increases. So that's for the supply curve. For the demand curve, we have something else, and I will show you in the next slide. So I have price on the y-axis and quantity on the x-axis. So let's draw the demand curve. So how is the demand curve? People need to eat food, okay? They always eat the same amount of food. Even if the price goes up, they are going to eat the same amount of food every day. Maybe a bit less, but the quantity is going to be almost the same. So if prices rise, then they will eat a bit less, but not terribly less. If the price goes down, then they will eat more. But it's not like you will eat like double the amount. So it is pretty inelastic. So this is the demand curve, inelastic. So the quantity is almost the same, right? So this is the demand curve. Let's add some tag to that. This is the demand curve. Now the supply curve is like this. It goes up when you go to the right. So let's add the supply curve. And it is somewhere like this. So this is the supply curve. Supply. And here we have the price. Okay, so that's the price. So let's say the price is currently, so this is for potash. And the price should be around, let's say, $800 right now. That's very realistic. Now, let's see what can happen. So first of all, Russia bans exports. So what happens when you ban exports? That means that if the price goes up, nothing happens. The price can double. If you ban fertilizer exports, then the quantity, the supply will not increase. So what happens? Even if the price goes up, you will have the same amount of quantity. So what happens that then this curve will steepen. So we have a steepening curve like this. So the supply curve has gone more inelastic. Okay, more inelastic. Also, the ban will push this curve more to the left, like this, because there's less quantity coming from Russia and Belarus. So the price now rises to, let's say, 1,000. Okay, so that's the first thing that will happen. You get a steepening supply curve and it goes to the left. Now, what happens when the costs go up? Then this whole curve goes up. Costs will go up due to higher oil prices, higher natural gas prices. So the whole supply curve goes up. So this here goes up. So that's what's happening right now with Yara and all other fertilizer companies. The supply curve is rising. So then we get to 1,200 potash. And this is actually what's happening right now. We are seeing prices rise exponentially. The demand, of course, stays the same. People just eat, but the supply is dropping. So we went from here, supply, to here. And the price, of course, rises. And this is just going to keep getting worse and worse, more inelastic because of more bans, more ports being closed, supply chain issues. So it becomes more inelastic and the cost going up due to the oil price rising. And eventually you get massive price increases, 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, 2,000. So this supply curve is just going to go through the roof here. And that's eventually the outcome. So this is how to understand all of these news releases. And this is also why fertilizers are skyrocketing. And you know how to bet on this. So you can watch my fertilizer picks. Basically, there's only one pick. You know which one. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.